drawbacks of manual testing. All these drawbacks we can overcome with the automation testing, right? So fast. What's the meaning of fast? Yesterday we have seen one example. If one test case, manual test case execution with the manual testing process, it is taking a 10 minutes of time. But if I convert that manual test case into automation test script, and if I click run button in Selenium, it is taking just 2 minutes of time. Okay, it's fast. That's a fast only. So always automation test execution is faster than manual test execution. So that's the meaning of it is fast. And reusable. So same test case we are executing again and again, right? So same program if I write again and again, we can execute it. Reusable. So one-time development, many times using reusable. Okay. And the cost reduction. Yesterday also we have seen this cost reduction in terms of time and budget cost. Yesterday we have seen with the example, right? Yeah. And accuracy. So the software, it won't get tiredness. So it will display correct results only. So we have advantages as well as we have some disadvantages also. So the first one is proficiency is required. And if you see the disadvantages of automation testing, so we have a proficiency means if I want to use QTP, I have to learn some programming language VB scripting. So until unless you don't know VB scripting, I can't use my QTP. Same way Selenium also there. So Selenium, you want to use it, you have to learn one programming language. So then only I can use it. Otherwise, I can't use it. So that's a drawback. And I explained some test cases execution. In my laptop, I explained some test case execution. So do you require any knowledge for that to execute the test cases? No, because by reading that test case step by step, we were able to execute application, right? But wherever I want to use the Selenium or QTP or any automation tool, you have to learn the programming language. So that is a drawback. So we have executed, right? So I have opened my application and I have shown some test cases, right? So do you require any knowledge for that, for execution? Because all the test cases are in simple English language only. So all the user actions and expected, all this information mentioned in that. I can read it and I can perform the operations on the application. But whenever I want to use any automation tool, so you have a programming knowledge is required compulsory. Okay, got it? And it, yeah, because you don't know some manual testing on it, right? So test case comes under manual testing, test scripts under automation testing. So in our manual testing process, just I shown some real-time test cases. So we executed those test cases in my application. So there they don't know about that application, but they are able to execute because all the test cases are mentioned in the simple English language. But whenever I use any automation tool like QTP, Selenium, Tosca is not a programming language. Any other tool like Test Complete, there I have to write some programs. So I don't know about programs, so I can't use it. So that is one drawback, and it is expensive. So if I want to use Tosca licensed, QTP licensed, means what? You have to purchase it. So all automation tools are not freeware. So you have to buy it. Okay. So for manual testing, no need to buy. Already you are an employee in that company, you can execute it. But I want to perform that operations into automation side. Again, I have to purchase a tool. I have to spend some money on that. Right. And in all areas also automation not possible. So means actually what we do in automation testing is we have set of test cases are there. Those test cases we are converting into automation test programs. Suppose if I receive 100 test cases from manual testers. Okay. So what I will do is I will analyze those 100 test cases, which I can go for automation, which is not possible for automation. So some test cases may be not possible for automation. So that feasibility we are calling as an automation feasibility analysis. That I will explain. So on all areas, automation is not possible. Suppose in manual testing, we have these test cases are there, usable test cases, look and feel. So I want to verify field alignments. So fields are displaying in proper position or not. So that is not possible for automation. But field is accepting data or not, I can test it. I can write a program for that. Image is there. Image comparison I can do. But in image you have some text that we can't test it. Captcha. So whenever I click on capture, right, it displays some number. So that is also not possible for automation. So in all areas also automation is not possible, but manual testing is possible, right? So capture manual only, right? So by human beings we do and we can analyze and, but with automation not possible, So there are some advantages. So what are the disadvantages? Yeah, so proficiency is required before using automation tool, and it is expensive. In all areas, automation is not possible. So they will ask, sir, what are the areas in your project? What are the test cases you are not able to automate? That we'll see. Okay. And if you see the drawback, I mean, difference between manual and automation testing. So these questions maybe you face in the interview. Okay. Yeah. So difference between manual and automation testing. Okay. So testing is implemented by manually. So manually, all entire STLC process you are with human beings only. So you are manually writing test cases, and you are manually executing your application test cases, testing the application by human beings. That is manual process. But whenever you are implementing with any automation tool, so testing is implemented by using automation tool. So manual is with manual, automation with the tool like Selenium. It is the best suit for the application which number of test cycles are less. So I have only few test cases are there. Only 100 test cases are there, or my project is very small application. So manual testing is enough. So no need to go for automation testing. So 1 month project is there. So for that, automation testing is not required. Suppose a Q icon, website development is there. So for that, do we require any automation? If I want to go for a QTP, I have to spend 6 lakhs of rupees. So here development cost is less than testing cost. Should not be. Right? So to develop a Q icon site, I spend only 1 lakh. I want to test it 2 ways, manual, automation. So which is suitable here? Manual only. Because if I want to go with another tool, Tosca, I have to purchase a license. So Tosca license is more than QTP, 7-8 lakhs. So is it required? If it requires, then what happened? Testing cost is more than development cost. It's not good actually. Right or not? So less project, I mean less complexity project, less number of requirements are there. So go for manual. And banking applications, insurance applications, telecom applications. So more number of product-based companies. So they go for the automation testing. So we have more requirements and more regression scope is there. Regression testing. Yesterday we discussed, right? So those we go for what? Automation testing. The test development time is less. So in manual testing, the meaning of test development time is what? Designing a test cases. So designing a test cases. Clear? So per day, how many test cases you are writing? Per day, how many test cases you are writing? I mean designing. Manual testing. Okay. What's the answer? Per day, how many test cases you can write? 8 to 10. That's it. For 8 hours, in 8 hours, I can design only 8 to 10 test cases, not more than that. Okay. So one day you are able to write 8 to 10 test cases, maximum 10 test cases. Per day, how many automation test scripts you can design? To maximum 1 or 2. That's it. We cannot write more than 1-2 programs. If it is complexity high, no reusability is there. Only 1 or 2. So right now I am automating 10 scripts. Okay, and last week I started, still not completed. Per day average 1 only, right? And now tell me, development time is more in manual or less in more in manual, right? Because one day I can write 10 test cases. So 200 test cases are there, 20 days, right? Now I am converting these test cases into automation test scripts. Per day 2, consider 2. How many are there? 200 are there. Tell me how many days it requires? 100 days. So development time is less in where? Manual testing. Development time is more in where? Automation. But this is only one-time activity. This is only one-time activity. See, don't consider this is a drawback of automation. See, writing test cases, only one-time activity. Writing test scripts, one-time activity. Execution we are doing, right? So every release we are doing execution. So that is we are doing as a multiple activities, right? So that is important. So if you see here, the test execution time is more here. See, the test execution time is more. Where? Manual. But here, test execution time is less. The test execution time is less. Where? Automation. So for 10 minutes, it is taking with the manual. But if I convert into automation, it is taking only 2 minutes. So yesterday I opened one application, jQuery.com, and I clicked one link and I performed drag and drop options. So manually, it is taking nearly 1 minute of time. But with automation, just 10-15 seconds only happened, right? Yesterday, like that. So test development time is more in manual. Sorry, less in manual. Test development time is more in automation, but execution time is more in manual, less in automation. That is important. So we design test cases only one time. We design test scripts only one time. Whenever any maintenance is there, we will do once again. Okay, na? See, the test reports generated by manually. See here, the data needs to be provided by manually. Test data. What's the meaning of test data? The data which we are providing to your application for testing purpose. Those data we are calling as what? Test data. So we have two types of data are there. What are those? Positive, negative. So if you are a manual tester, I have to perform the data. I have to prepare a test data. Clear, sir? But if it is automation tester, I can create a test data by tool. So for example, I have a data in my database. So manually you have to open the database and manually you have to write the query, and then you have to click on the query execution and fetch the data and pass to the application, right? But in automation, I can write a test script for that. So your test script, your Selenium program will connect to your database. It executes the query, fetch the data, and pass to the data to your application. I can write a program like that. We are writing in future. So test data in manual, we have to generate. In automation, tool can generate. Everything is automation only. Got it, right? Yeah. Are you following online, guys?
Yes, Rika.
Yes.
Right. And the test reports can be generated by manually. Suppose you are in execution of you are in regression execution. So now after 1 week or today, I have executed 20 test cases. So now you have to send a status report to your client, right? So 20 executed, 15 passed, 5 failed. Otherwise 20 executed, 15 passed, 3 failed, 2 not completed, like that. I found 5 defects. So these data you are preparing, you are opening on Excel, and then you are entering all the data, and then you are sending to your client, right? But that process also I can automate in automation testing. So I'll execute, I click run button, Your Selenium is picking all your 20 test scripts. If it is pass, fail, not executed, not completed, all this data can be generated by in HTML file reports or Excel reports or PDF reports. Your tool can generate. Like that, we are writing a program. Clear? So in manual task. In automation task. But we have to write the program for that. So that we'll discuss in the framework classes. So that we'll discuss in the framework classes. So in Selenium, we have a framework topic is there. In that framework, we do a batch testing. So batch testing nothing but executing multiple test scripts at a time. So not one by one script. So there it will generate a report. How many passed, how many failed, like that. Otherwise, after session, I will show you in my like how many passed, how many failed is. In this I will explain. No problem. Okay. Yeah. And whenever I track any defects, whenever I found any defects, I have to track the defects manually. But here in automation, yeah, so I can track all the defects with the program. It also can send an email also to your clients. So no need to open Outlook manually, and click send button, not required. Everything can be performed with the program. with automation testing. Time consuming. In manual testing, compulsory manual tester should be there. Right or wrong? So if I want to execute your test cases, so compulsory manual tester presence should be there. But if it comes to automation testing, our presence also not required. Particular time today, 27th, right? 27th to 2 o'clock, I want to execute. The date time in front of your computer sitting is not required. I can write a program. So whenever it reaches 27th October, 2 o'clock PM, it executes. So in manual testing, presence should be there, but in automation testing, not required. We can write a program. That also we'll do that in framework classes. Advanced concepts. So these are all comes under advanced concepts. Okay. Next, this is important. The programming knowledge is not required. Where we are not writing any programs, right? We are writing only test cases. English language only, that is. But in automation testing, so what I said, right? This functionality, like at 2 o'clock, I want to run it. Okay, and I want to track all the defects, and I want to send the status. So for all this, write a program. So for that, we require what? Programming knowledge. So these are the basic difference between manual and automation tester. So you are an automation tester or a manual tester right now? So try job with the automation only. So without having knowledge or experience on automation testing, your profile won't be shortlist. Believe me. So manual testing is not at all sufficient. Having manual testing and trying for a software testing job, your resume will not shortlist. So for freshers, automation knowledge is mandatory. For experienced guys, means you're working in one company and you want to shift to another company. If you're not working also, you have to showcase in your CV. Currently, I'm working in automation testing. So your current project is automation testing project only. So then only your CVs will shortlist. Otherwise, no. Once again, whenever you go to automation testing interview, they will ask questions only from automation. Maybe out of, suppose you are facing 20 questions, 17 to 18 questions from automation only, 2-3 more questions from manual only. That's it. So that much of importance is there for the automation testing. Okay. Yeah. So now we'll discuss automation tester responsibilities. Okay. So what do you do basically? So today and yesterday, just the basics of automation testing. So we'll start Selenium from tomorrow, basically. But before that, we should have some basic knowledge of automation testing, right? Because we don't know anything about the manual testing. Some basic concepts, okay? Here, automation tester responsibilities. Here. So very, very important. So as a manual tester, we discussed our responsibilities in manual sessions. So now we're in automation testing, automation tester responsibilities, okay? So whether you are a manual or automation, you have to understand the application compulsory, application functionality. So you are a manual tester or automation tester. First of all, you have to understand your application under test AUT requirements, okay? So understanding application requirements or functionalities. Or business. So why this application is developed for? And what are the requirements are? Understanding application requirements, functionalities, business. Okay, so this is automation tester responsibility. See here, in a company, testers are different types of testers are there. Functional testers, they do only manual testing. Next to automation testers like we. Okay, maybe QTP, maybe Selenium, maybe Tosca, maybe Test Complete, maybe XYZ, like that. Okay, next, performance testers. So they check the performance of the application with some load runner tool like that. Okay, those are called as a performance testers. See, if you go to any company, in testing team, different roles are there. Functional testers. What they will do? Only manual testing. They will do only manual testing. Next, automation testers means, yeah, front end automation, front end, back end, middleware. So we do test only front end applications, UI automation. If I open Gmail, right, the screens you are able to see, right, that is called front end. Only that we are going to automate. So to automate that, we may use different tools. QTP I can use, Selenium I can use, Tosca I can use, Test Complete I can use, some other tools I can use. So this will decide by your client. So next, middleware automation test, web service testing. SOAP UI, Postman, with that, web service testing. Next, those we are calling as a middleware testers. Next, performance testers. So they check the performance of the application with some tools, load runner like that. Next, DB testers, database testers. So they will test the database, whether the table correctly designed or not as per the requirements, and the data is correctly inserting or not, retrieving or not. So all those database testers. So VR comes under front-end automation testers or functional automation testers. Like that. So what are my responsibilities? Functional tester responsibilities are different. Performance testers are responsibilities are different. So now we are a functional automation test engineer. So what are my responsibilities? So if you are any tester, first of all is understanding application requirements, functionalities, business. Next one is, see, depends on your experience. Sure. Depends on your experience. You may involve in test planning. So if you have a 4, 5, 6 years experience, yes, you may prepare a test plan document. What is test plan? What it contains? Everything I explained in manual testing, right? Okay. So what happened now? Most of the people are joining. 30 member students. Okay. Yeah. See here. Designing or understanding. This is automation test plan document. Okay. So if I go to interview, if they are asking me what are your responsibilities, then I will say designing automation test plan document. But if I have a 2-3 years experience like that, simply understanding test plan document. What are you understanding in this document? So what are the understanding documents are there in this? Scope, what to test, when to test, how to test, who to test. So these four categories are there. In where? Test plan document. How do I know when I have to start my execution? By understanding test plan document. How do you know the scope of your project? Test plan document. How do you know out of scope requirement? Test plan document. So all this information will be mentioned in the test plan document. Who will prepare? Mostly the senior persons only prepare. Senior software engineer, leads, senior lead, manager. Now, mostly manager won't work like this. So team will only works. Clear? So understanding application requirements, functionalities are what is your application business, and designing or understanding automation test plan document. Okay. Next, involving in automation feasibility. This is important. See, this responsibility is not there for manual tester, right? So this is not included in the manual tester. So now involving in automation feasibility. Involving in automation feasibility. What is the meaning of it is? If I get 100 test cases from manual team, which test case I can go for automation? Which test case not possible for automation? So that analysis is called as a automation feasibility analysis. Involving in automation feasibility. Again, you are only 1 year experience in automation. You are not involving in this. At least 2 years of experience, yes, they can involve in the automation feasibility. So if anybody asks what is automation feasibility? So test case automation feasibility is a analysis, and we identify what test cases can be automated, what test cases cannot be automated. So that is the answer. So what is automation feasibility? Analysis of test case for automation. So in this I will analyze how many test cases I can go for automation. How many test cases not possible for automation. I do analysis with my previous experience. So that's the reason I'm telling more than 2 years of experience. Yes, you can analyze. So these test cases you are getting from whom? Manual testers.
Manual testers.
See, before starting Selenium project, we do all these things. So directly I am not writing a script in project, in company. Before starting a project, we have to do all this. Because we should have a proper plan, test plan document are preparing. I should know about the business of the application. So nearly 1 week we are spending on the time for understanding the application. And 1 week for the feasibility analysis. Because we may have finite test cases are there. All finite test cases possible in 1 day, feasibility not possible. So it will take at least 1 week of time. Because 2-3 more resources are there, right? Like that. At least before starting automation project freshly, it takes nearly 20 to 30 days. Only this. Minimum 15 days, minimum 2 weeks. 15 days means 3 weeks. Monday to Friday only, right? So Saturday, Sunday off. Monday to Friday. So we do all these basic things, okay? Involving in what? Automation feasibility. I will show you how automation feasibility document looks like. Next. Test script development for identified test cases, manual test cases. Test script development. Nothing but you are writing a program. So now you identified 80 test scripts. 4 members are working. So 20 are assigned. So now I have received 20 test cases. Now I'm starting development. So now I have received a functionality, login functionality. Okay. So I will go for the open the application test cases and test case step. Open the application. I will write a program. Okay. Enter invalid data, username, password, click submit button. Data. Data is there. All the data is there because already manual testing is completed. Again, no need to prepare. Okay. Are you getting my point, right? For whenever you are an automation tester, mostly you are getting data from manual team because already testing is completed. Automation testing takes place after functional testing only. First, directly we are not involving automation testing. First, we are involving what? Manual testing for any project. Possible. Directly also again possible. But as per process, we are not involving starting automation testing. So we do first what? Manual testing. So already they prepared data. I'm taking those data. Suppose you are saying I'm preparing a data to your manager today. Why are you preparing data? Already is there. Why are you wasting your time? Because already tested it is. Okay, na? So now test script development for identified manual test cases. So now open manual test cases, enter that. So have a step to enter data. I have a data. For entering a data, I will write a program. Pass or fail. One more program I will write it. One completed. And after that, I'll do a debugging involving in debugging scripts. So after execution, after designing a test scripts, my test script is working properly or not. Positive data, negative data, like that. Debugging of the scripts you are calling. After writing a test cases, manually I will verify, right? Right or not? So step by step I will read it. These are functionality, the requirement from getting from RTM document. So okay, right. I review. Here also after writing a test script, I will execute it. Step by step statements are executing or not. If I give a positive data, working or not. If I give a negative data, not working or not. So that I'm going to verify, debugging. Involving reviews. So tell me what types of reviews are there? Self-review, peer reviews. Same way, if you write a manual test cases, your colleague will review, peer review, and you're sending these test cases to your client, they will also review. Same way, test script also we do review. In test scripts also we do review. So whether your script is working properly or not, whether you have covered all the manual steps, all user actions of manual test cases into test script or not, they will review. Maybe my colleague or my manager or client also. Client means who once again? Client means who? Suppose you are working for a Google company. Now you are working for a Google company. Okay. Now Google is reviewing a test script means who? Who are going to review here?
POs.
In Google also QA team is there. Right? In Google also they have a QA team. So we are contacting them. They are contacting us. They will review. Are you getting my point, right?
We can call them as a POs, right, Srikar?
Sorry?
We can call them as a POs or product owners, right?
Yeah.
They will review
each
test cases.
Agile concept.
Yep.
Yeah. Involving in reviews. Yeah. Test execution. So test script execution. Test script execution and defect tracking. This is common. And last one, test script maintenance. Test script maintenance. That's it. So understanding application requirements, major responsibility I provided. So understanding application requirements or functionalities, business. So next, designing, understanding, automation, test plan document, involving in automation feasibility. So here we will get the input as what? Test cases. So here I will take the test cases which are already available in manual testing process. From that, I will do the analysis and I'll prepare a document. I will show you now. Okay. Next, test script development for identified manual test cases. And then it is nearly 2 to 3 months. More than that also sometimes. But depends on the process you are working. In Agile model, you are working 2 weeks or one sprint like that. So involving in debugging scripts. So how do you do debugging in Selenium? That we'll discuss. Involving in reviews. White box testing techniques. Did you remember? Testing techniques. How many are there? 3 are there. What are those? White box, black box, gray box. You are a manual tester. Which technique you are using? Black box. Black box. Now, in this review, we are using a white box also. Because I written some program. Statement coverage, path coverage, loop coverage, conditional coverage, like that. So with the white box testing techniques, we do involving in code reviews. Test script execution and defect report tracking. So whenever I execute any scripts, so client will mention, okay, in this period you have to execute the scripts. So what are the design of the scripts are there? I am going to execute those. So during execution, if I track any defects, I am not tracking. Who is tracking? See, during you are in automation testing. One defect found. Who will track the defect now? Tool only.
Tester.
No, tool.
Selenium.
See, again, I'm not writing manually, I'm not logging. Clear? We are in automation. Everything will be in automation only. So like that, if any test script failed, right, it will take a screenshot. Automatically take a screenshot. So like that, we are writing a test scripts in future. And it send the screenshot details report to the developer. Clear? And maintenance. So whenever any new requirements are added or functionalities are changed, as you are changing the test cases, maintenance, same way, you are also maintaining your automation test scripts. That's it. So this is your automation tester responsibilities. Okay. Yeah. So I said, right, our session is interactive session, right? Okay. So first, Raghu. Raghu, are you there, sir? Raghu, are you available? Upender? Manju?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for responding. Is it Manju, right? Yeah. Just go through this response. Just read it. That's it. Nothing is there. Just read it. Just it. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, madam. Just to read these responsibilities.
Now, sir,
Yeah, yeah.
understanding application requirements and functionalities of business application. And second one is designing and understanding automation test plan document. And third one is involving in automation feasibility. Fourth one is test script development for identified manual test cases. Fifth one is involving in debugging scripts. Sixth one is involving in reviews. Seventh one is test script execution and defect tracking. Eighth one is test script maintenance.
Yeah. So don't say first one, second one, third one like this. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for your responding. Yeah. Yeah. Next, Sai Navin. I'm taking randomly. Okay.
Yeah.
If I call your name, right, just feel you are lucky.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understanding application
we have
requirements.
A sentiment, sir. We have a sentiment. See, I'm following the sentiment since 8 years. Okay. If you're responding to me, whenever I'm asking the questions, right? If you're responding to my questions, definitely you'll get a job, sir. 100% you'll get a job. Pakka. Same sentiment I'm following since 8 years. My teaching experience 8 years. Job experience 15 years. Believe me, okay? Who is that? Lucky person? Sai Navin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Understanding application requirements or functionalities of business.
Very good.
Designing or understanding automation test plan document. Involving in automation feasibility.
Good.
Test script development for identified manual test cases. Involving in debugging scripts. Involving in reviews. Test script execution and defect tracking. And last, test script maintenance.
Thank you. Thank you, Sai. Thank you, Manju. You're from offline. Please, you go ahead, sir.
Understanding the application requirement functionalities business.
Understanding requirements or functionalities or business.
Designing, understanding automation test plan.
Designing, understanding means what? No, designing or understanding. You know, so how many years of experience you have? Then say designing automation test plan document. Then don't say this understanding. You know, so 1 year experience, right? Understanding. So decide your experience. I don't know about your experience, right? Come on.
Involving in automation feasibility. Test script development for identified manual test cases. Involving in debugging scripts. Involving in reviews. Test scripts execution under defect tracking. Test script maintenance.
Okay. Yes, madam, yourself.
Understanding application requirements or functionalities or business. Designing or understanding automation test plan document. Involving in automation feasibility. Test script development for identified manual test cases. Involving in debugging scripts. Involving in code reviews. Test script execution and defect tracking. Test script maintenance.
That's it. No, so anyone of you take the chance, sir? No.
understanding application requirements or functionalities of business, designing automation test plan development, involving in automation feasibility, test development for identified management status, involving in debugging scripts, involving in code reviews, test script execution and defect tracking, test script maintenance.
Thank you. So see, I like this point. So you haven't explained this understanding, right? So you directly said designing automation because you decide your experience and then you can explain that. Good. Thank you. Right. So now what is this automation feasibility? What are the test cases I can go for automation and not possible for the automation?
Test
Right.
case
That's
can
story.
be automated and
Yes, Manju madam. Yes, correct. You are correct. Yeah. Now, so test case can be automated. So what test cases can be automated and what test cases cannot be automated? Okay, na? So can be. See, test cases thus needs to be run on every build. Mostly regression test cases. Yesterday we have seen one diagram, right? 1000. Build 1, cycle 1, 100, build 1, cycle 2, 100 plus old 100, 200. So those we are considering as what? Automation. So which are regression test cases. You know, so a functionality is repeating in every build, in every release. I have to test that functionality. So definitely I will go for what? Converting manual test case into automation scripts. Yeah, so I have a test case. Suppose I have an application, you know, that application can be accessed by different roles. You know, that application can be accessed by different roles like user, admin, super admin, for example. You know, these functionalities I have to test in every release, right? Right or wrong? So repeating task is going on. Convert into automation test scripts. So whenever any functionality is to be testing in multiple times, you know, consider the test cases should be converted into automation test scripts. ఏదైనా ఒక టెస్ట్ కేసు ఉన్నప్పుడు ఆ టెస్ట్ కేసులో how much time it is repeating. Multiple times I have to test that functionality. Those test cases I will consider as what? Automation test scripts. For example, recently in my project, I have functionality, payment transfer functionality. You know, so now see in my project, I have total 10 modules are there. So total 10 modules are there. You know, out of 10 modules, 7 are completed. So remaining 3 are there. You know, in that there is a functionality called as a payment transfer. You know, so now test cases can be automated, but my functional tester said that no, these functionalities are changing. The total UI is changing from next release. You know, this functionality will work only this month only, November only, October only. From November onwards, the screen is changing. The entire screen is changing. You know, so instead of a drop down, there is a checkbox. Instead of text box, multi-line text box, like that. So they are modifying it. Will you go for automation? No, not required, right? Not required because this functionality is working only this month. Next month onwards, the functionality changing. So if I automate here, I have to spend time on that designing a test scripts. This month I spend time for the designing test scripts, but next month is not working. So what will I do with the test scripts? Right or wrong? So we are not automating those test cases. Clear? But the test case is there. The test case is there. It will be next year, second year, 2 years also. Function is not changing, and every release, every execution phase, we have to test that functionality. So then I will consider the test case as a automation. Yeah, nothing but all regression test cases should convert into automation scripts. So we do regression testing only, right? Whenever any new functions are added or existing functions are modified, then we do regression testing, right? Those test cases we convert into what? Automation. You know? So this is the automation feasibility. So I will identify which test case I can go for automation and which test case is not possible for automation testing. Okay. So tester that use multiple data values. See, I have a functionality. I have functionality and I want to test that functionality for multiple data. So then I go for what? Automation testing. Suppose there is a banking application, for example, credit card payment. I can pay from MasterCard to Amex card to MasterCard, Amex card to Visa card, like that, right? So multiple transactions with the different test data is there. Go for automation. Okay. Now, suppose you did a payment transaction and I have to verify 30 fields are there. 30 fields are there. 30 fields. You did one payment transaction and if I see the results, 30 fields are there. 30 fields unnai, and those data I want to verify. So like this, I have 50 sets of data. 50 sets of different cards are there. For example, convert into one program and pass this data, it will execute. Like that, okay? So that need to be from different browsers. What is the browser compatibility? Different browsers. So convert those test cases also automation testing. Okay. Application with objects do not change in the short term. I just explained, right? The functionality is changing in near term. Don't spend time for that. Go for other modules for automation. So those test cases we go for what? Automation testing. And what test cases we are not converting? Mostly this one, usability testing. Non-functional testing we are not converting. If I open my application, fields are fields should not overlap. Spell checks that we are not automating. Font color, logos, image we can compare, but we are not covering into the test case. Okay. Yeah.
Creating a new data also we can't make it, right?
Yeah. I can prepare data. Yeah, I can prepare data.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have some methods are there. So by using those methods, we can prepare data. See, sir, for example, I want to verify a help content. Every application has their own help information, right? The document I want to automate, not possible. We test only the functionality only. Only functional testing only we are converting into automation, not the non-functional testing. So those we are not covering. And ad hoc random testing not possible. Complex scenarios which requires human interactions while execution. So not possible. For example, in my current situation, so today I do a transaction. For the transaction, after 24 hours, it generates a report, not immediately. For example, you have opened one account in the bank. So immediately you are able to use your debit card. Why? Why? Because every day, one time, the bank people will run one job. So today 10 o'clock I have opened account. 11 o'clock you went to another bank and you opened same bank, another branch. You opened account. From other branch you opened another account. So 3 accounts, right? Immediately they won't activate. So some time is there, evening at 2 o'clock, night jobs. So they will run some batch queries, means database queries. So they will say, right, next day activate. It will activate next day only. So my script is like this. My function is like this. Create a user, create an account, enter data, submit button. After 24 hours, account should activate. So now I'm converting that test case into test script. Entering data is completed with my program. Can I keep my Selenium for 24 hours to validate the activate of functionality? Are you getting my point, right? See, the functionality is like this. Create a bank account. You are a manual tester. You open the application and enter all the customer details. Submit button, done. So next day they will come. Again they will open. Okay, and they will verify whether it is activated or not activated. Manual testers. And now I'm automation testing, converting manual testing into automation testing. So now I opened application with Selenium. With Selenium, I have entered all the details, and Selenium clicked the submit button. Now what I want to verify? Whether it is activated or not activated. When it is happening? After 24 hours. Now you are keeping your Selenium to wait 24 hours now? No, right? Again, next day you are opening Selenium and then you are testing. So here we are doing a parts. Pre-batch, post-batch. So we are dividing into two parts like that. So that is called as a manual interactions. Then it requires some data. So some batch runs should happen. So like that. Okay. Na? So third party objects, printer functionality. That also not possible. I can click a print icon. See, I can test a print icon, but whether it is printed properly document or not, I can't, because that is different object and Selenium is different object. Not possible. So this is the way how do we do automation feasibility. Now what I will do after preparing automation feasibility, I will prepare a document. Okay, I will prepare a document. So how automation feasibility document looks like, okay? Serial number. Okay. See here, mostly sheet will consider as a module. Admin. Okay, serial number. Test case name, sorry. Test case name. Okay. Automation feasibility. Okay. Status. No. Design. Okay. Comments. Enough. Currently. Suppose my test case 1. My test case like this. TC001. Validate. Login functionality. So this is my test case. So I gone through the manual steps, user actions expected, and with my experience, yes, this test case can be automated. So here, yes, status, right now I'm not involving any status, right? Not designing, just simply you can keep like this. Automation feasibility, yes. Suppose second test case, GC002, validate login page UI. So login page UI means what? Non-functional testing. Look and feel, right? That we are not testing. No. If it is no, you have to write comments. So this functionality belongs to UI. Simple. So we are not automating that. Suppose I have a third test case. TC003. Validate create user. This we are not automating. Why? Because this functionality is going to be changed in next release. So like this we are writing. So whenever it is no, right, definitely the required reason. So that we are mentioning in what? Comments. So like this we prepare a automation feasibility document. Okay, like we have admin. Suppose another module is there, admin one like this. Okay, so here also we have some test cases. Consider. Okay, so now we create as a legend. Okay, legend means what here? Details about all the modules information. So here, so test cases. So feasible. not feasible. Okay, that's it. So in test case, suppose here we have combining admin and admin 1. We found that total 250. You know, in this 250, I can automate only 220. You know, 30 not feasible. I want developed. Out of 220, you have developed 110. Yet to develop. In progress. We are calling as in progress. How many are there? How many are there? 250 are there, total test cases. Feasibility only 220. 30 not feasible. Count is matching. 250 matching, right? Next, out of 220, you have developed 110. So how many are in progress? Yet to develop? 110 only, right? See, match ka hoga, 220. In 220, you have did that 110. So remaining 110 in progress means yet to start like that. And then you have give some color code here. So this legend means what? Combining all modules information. Summary. So this is admin module, data. So if you want, you can also write like this. So we can add, okay. Here you can write this information. You can also mention the here also. This is with respect to the corresponding admin module only. But this information for the entire module. So this is the way how we prepare. And who are involving in automation feasibility? Mostly leads. Those who are having 3-4 years experience, 2 years experience like that. Freshers are not involving because they don't know actually. So this is we are calling as what? Automation feasibility analysis. So this document we are calling as automation feasibility document. So by understanding this, I will come to know that how many test cases are there, how many test cases need to automate. So start date, design date. If you want to add, you can also write start date, design date. So when this test case to be automated, start date, end date, review status, who reviewed, who approved, who author. It also can add in this, but I have given only the basic information. So this is about the automation feasibility, and this is about the basic automation testing process. Just we spend 2 days for the automation basic concepts. So tomorrow we'll start with the Selenium starting. So actual Selenium start from tomorrow. So 2 days we spend for the basic information of the automation testing process. So don't miss the class from tomorrow. So tomorrow onwards we are starting with the Selenium. So introduction of Selenium. And also like Selenium is not readily available. Like QTP is there, directly you are installing and you are using. Tosca is there, installing and using, right? But Selenium is not like that. So we have to create our tool here in your computer. Are you getting my point, right? Suppose Java is there, Java installing and then you are working. Tosca is there, Tosca you are installing and then you are working. But Selenium is not like that. You have to create a setup. So you have to create a setup in your computer. So all this information we will discuss tomorrow. Okay? Any doubts, guys? Yeah, I will send this document in WhatsApp group. You can go through that. So tomorrow onward we'll start the Selenium process. Thank you, guys. Any doubts? Thank you.